So this is it, this is the ramble. This is basically my plan. So LewisArt, I've got so far in the past with it. I began to sell paintings. I exhibited in a few places, both in groups and as solo, and then I went back to teaching and boom, the whole thing's gone. There's no doubt in my mind that when I teach, that's everything. I get absorbed in that, and the creativity in my art goes to the wayside. And then you could sort of say, well, there's the holidays and stuff, but it's a short period of time and it's gone. I want to solely focus on my art and try and develop that. There's a lot of stuff that I've got to think about. So primarily what I want to do is I want to paint. I tend to do spray paint on canvas. That's my thing currently. And so I have run out of canvases, so I had to go back through all of that. So I've had to think about canvases, I've had to think about buying the stretchers because I built them myself. I had to look into what type of canvas I was going to use, whether I was going to use calico, which I'd used before and had mixed results, or whether I was going to go for 12-ounce stuck cotton, which I hadn't used before. And then I started looking into that. There's all sorts of issues that go around that in terms of primer, size, width, length that you can order, and of course the cost. So with everything that I do, I'm trying to keep the costs down but maintain the quality of the canvases. Once that's all done, I also want to put them onto a website. It's pretty much broken into 3 sections, which is the bit about me, the sort of documentary style studio area, and then the shop area. Studio is a funny one because I don't have a studio, so at the moment I'm having to work outside and sort of bring my art in. So my house is full of boxes and packages and things. I've got to build my own canvases at some point, so I've got to put them all together and look at that. And there's a few things that I do with regards to canvases and the research that I've done around canvases and the fabric that I use. So that's something. So then there's the whole social media thing. So I'm on YouTube, right? I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. And I've thought about Patreon, but obviously I don't have a following. So is it too early to do Patreon? I should think so. So I've looked into these things. I've also thought about doing a blog on my website, but to be honest, the whole typing it all up and spell checking it and all of that stuff all the time. I prefer to do a vlog and then link that in them rather than do a blog where I'm writing. I have also thought about a podcast. That would be quite interesting, but I guess you kind of need a second person with a podcast. Why am I turning to the second person? Oh! So the sales that I've made in the past have allowed me to buy the materials to make the next batch of paintings. So then I've got to look at the paints that I use. Now I've been using Molotow, covers all. There's a couple of alternatives that I'd like to do, and at some point what I'd really like to do is dabble with oils because I've never done that. I've used acrylics in the past and watercolours, and then I went to spray paint and I haven't really gone to oils, so I think I'd like to bring that in at I'd like to bring oils in at some point as well. So I drip paint. I usually use Liquitex, but I might look into other types of flow paint medium that there are. I've got to go out and get some ideas. So I'm going to make a number of videos that are me visiting different places. So I'll be thinking about the techniques that I use. I'll be thinking about the compositions and putting those together ready for my canvases, which will then go onto my website. It's so exciting and it all links together. So places, going visiting places, looking at compositions whilst I'm there, looking at nice images, taking photos, sketching, and then bringing that back. So there's a number of things that I do. So there's watercolours, ink, and I use an iPad. I started using an iPad as well to sketch. So at the moment I'm also investigating the iPad, investigating different pens to use. I'm going to go with a budget one to start with, and then hopefully build up from that. That would be quite good. Making videos, editing them, uploading them, all of that stuff as well. When I'm thinking about my website, I've got to think about how I sell and how then things get delivered. Then I need to think about, so do I just do the originals, or do I then get prints together? And I've also in the past sold cards, and I've sold limited edition prints before. So do I go back down that route and start exploring that? I think that'll have to come when I sell a few, if I sell a few originals. Until then, money's a bit tight. So what do I need? I need an art community that can help. I need advice. I need hints and tips. I need people to connect and talk about their experiences, what's worked for them when getting set up, and then I can take that advice and then and use it to go forward. I'm determined to make this work, but I do have a few snag issues to start with. Primarily, no studio space. I did have a studio. It was my garage, but then that became a living space, so I now don't have a studio again. So that's an issue. One of the other issues is my well-being at times, my mental health, and not always being confident enough to get out there and do things. So that holds me back from making a telephone call, going down the road, popping into places. Sometimes I'm super confident, other times it's the absolute opposite way, so I have to judge that carefully. How long do I give myself to do this? I guess as long as I need. I think 2 years. I'm kind of putting together a 2-year plan to start with that's going to hopefully get me set up and going. Exhibitions, galleries, getting in touch with galleries, getting my work into exhibition spaces, things like that. Again, maybe doing a residential somewhere. All of this, of course, on top of the fact that we've had COVID-19 and everything's changed. So there's lots of stuff, but like I said, it's a community that I'm calling out to, asking for help, asking for support in any way, shape or form. Just so let me know what you think, what you've done on your journey, where you are right now, good bits of advice that you could give me. All of that stuff would be really appreciated, and I'll try and reply to everything. And yeah, here we go.